Hello children, let me welcome you to the virtual training center of the Brihan Mumbai Mahanagar Palika. My name is Shraddha teacher. Children, we are in the middle of the COVID-19 pandemic, isn't it? Because of that, we are not able to go to school, but that doesn't mean that we are going to stop learning. We are going to meet here regularly through the virtual training center to learn many lessons in EVS. So come on, let's go to a lesson in EVS. Come on children, let's start with a new lesson in standard 4th EVS 2. And we are going to continue with the story of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. And if you remember, we were doing a lesson last time in which we talked about a very memorable ceremony. And what was the memorable ceremony? It was the coronation of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. In today's lesson, children, we are going to move on and we are going to talk about campaign in the south. Now, campaign means what? Campaign means a kind of an activity which Shivaji Maharaj undertook in order to capture the south. So, campaign means a kind of a plan or a kind of a program. Okay, in today's lesson, we will see why and how Shivaji Maharaj decided to move towards the south. And if you check your textbooks, it is lesson number 16 in your textbook. Okay, and since children, this is a long lesson. If you look in the textbook, you will see that it is a rather long lesson. So we will divide it up into two parts. And today we will be doing part 1 of this lesson. And next time when we meet, we will do part 2. Okay, so let's start with part 1 of the lesson, campaign in the south. South means south of India. Now, before we go to this particular lesson on campaign in the south, let us do a quick recap, or you can say check of the background to this story. So, when we talk about plan of the campaign, why did Shivaji Maharaj have to think about planning this kind of a campaign? What was the need that he felt that no, I should now plan a campaign towards the south? So, this happened because the coronation ceremony that we saw in the previous lesson, with a lot of fanfare it was undertaken, that was over. But the joy of the coronation ceremony was short-lived. Now, short-lived means what? The people were not able to celebrate and rejoice the coronation ceremony for a long time. Why? Something happened and everyone got worried, or people had to become alert. In fact, you can say, instead of saying people, we can say that Shivaji Maharaj had to become alert again. Okay, and there were some circumstances which led to this joy being short-lived. Joy being short-lived means we cannot remain happy for a long period of time. Okay, there's something very happy which has happened in our life, but then it will not keep us happy for long. Why? Because something else which has happened and it will make us very, very sad. So what was this other thing which happened which made Shivaji Maharaj really very sad? It was the death of Ma Saheb or Jijabai. A short while after the coronation, on the 17th of June 1674, Jijabai or Ma Sahib, as Shivaji used to call her very fondly, she passed away. Okay, and after she passed away, naturally you know that he was very, very attached to his mother. Shivaji Maharaj's life was in fact molded by his mother. All that he did was because of his mother. So what do you think must have happened? While all his subjects looked upon Shivaji Maharaj as their protector, Shivaji Maharaj himself depended on the advice and help of Ma Sahib. He was totally dependent on his mother, not only for advice but also for help. She used to keep guiding him from time to time. Now, all his subjects, that is the people who used to live in the kingdom of Swaraj, they used to look up to Shivaji Maharaj. They used to look up to Shivaji Maharaj for guidance and for help. But Shivaji Maharaj, on the other hand, depended solely on his mother. And that is why the loss of his mother, the passing away of his mother, was a big jolt for Shivaji Maharaj. It was a big shock for him. That is why we are saying that the joy of the coronation was short-lived. Okay? She was a true guide and guru in his life. He was deeply grieved by the loss of his mother. So you can see here, Shivaji Maharaj is in tears. He is very, very much, you can say, in anguish, in pain, in sorrow, because his mother is no longer a part of his life. She has passed away. She has died. Okay? Then we will see that he also had very little time for sorrow. He was not in a position that he could sit and cry, or he could be sorrowful that his mother is no longer with him. Why? Because he had to administer the kingdom which he had established. So there was this particular kingdom which he had established, the kingdom of Swaraj. He used to call it Swaraj, the Maratha kingdom. He had to administer, he had to look after the kingdom, and he had no time to feel sorry. He had no time to cry. He had to pick himself up because he had a lot of responsibilities on his shoulders. Okay? He then decided to attack Karnataka. Now see, this is Karnataka. Today we call it as Karnataka. Alright, and you can see it is a neighboring state. As far as Maharashtra is concerned, it is very close to Maharashtra. And Shivaji decided to attack Karnataka. And what did he do? He was no longer afraid of Adilshah, because the kingdom of Bijapur was practically on its last leg. Now you must have, in the beginning of this lesson, in the beginning of this textbook, there were so many lessons in which we discussed about Adilshah of Bijapur and Nizam Shah. Okay, we discussed about them. We discussed how they were creating trouble for the Maratha Sardars. But then, now Shivaji was no longer afraid of Adilshah. Why? Because the kingdom of Bijapur had become very, very weak, and it was not going to survive for long. That is why he was no longer afraid of Adilshah at all. Okay, and he decided to attack Karnataka. The real threat to Swaraj was from the north. Now, who were the kings in the north? The Mughals were ruling the north. For the Mughal emperor Aurangzeb was biding his time to destroy the Maratha kingdom. He was just waiting for a chance. Aurangzeb was waiting for a chance that as soon as he gets an opportunity, what will he do? He will destroy the Maratha kingdom. He will spread the Mughal rule all over the south. So the real threat to Swaraj was no longer from the Adilshah of Bijapur, but it was from Aurangzeb, or the Mughal ruler in Delhi or in the north. Okay? There was no knowing when Aurangzeb would attack and swallow the new kingdom. Attack and swallow means, can you swallow a kingdom, children? No, but it is a figurative word. It is said as an example. Swallowing a kingdom means capturing it totally. Alright, so Aurangzeb was waiting. He was just waiting for a chance to capture the Maratha kingdom. So Shivaji was well aware of all this. That is why he took upon the responsibility on his shoulders to protect the kingdom. Okay, that is why he did not sit crying or remembering his mother. His mother was always a part of him. He always loved her, respected her, and she was always in his heart. But he did not sit and continue to cry. He got up and he set to work. Okay, and what did he do? He thought that this campaign, that is attacking Karnataka, would create a powerful base in the south from where he could resist the blows of the Mughals. He said, I'll attack Karnataka. Maharashtra is already in my control. Now if I attack Karnataka, my base will become strong, and the Mughals will not be able to attack me very easily. So that was Shivaji Maharaj's plan, and that is the reason why he undertook this particular campaign to the south. Okay? With this in view, he planned his southern campaign. He approached Qutub Shah of Golokonda for help, and the Shah readily agreed to give whatever help was needed. So this is the ruler of, you can say, Golokonda, called Qutub Shah. Okay, he asked Qutub Shah for help, and Qutub Shah was more than ready, more than happy to help Shivaji. He said, I will help you in whatever way is possible. Why? Because the Mughals were a threat to such small kings, to such small rulers. They would want to swallow, like I just told you, the smaller kingdoms to make their own kingdom very big and powerful. So that is why Qutub Shah readily agreed to help Shivaji Maharaj. There was yet another reason for the campaign. Now, there was not only this reason that he wanted to resist the Mughals, there was one more reason. Shivaji's step-brother Vyankoji was looking after Shahaji Raje's Tanjavur Jagir in the south. He would not give Shivaji his share of the ancestral Jagir. Now, Shivaji had a step-brother. That is, he had a brother from his same father but another mother. Okay, and whatever belonged to his father then belonged to both these sons, that is Vyankoji as well as Shivaji. But then this other son of Shahaji Raje would not give anything to Shivaji Maharaj. He would not agree to give him any share of the ancestral Jagir. That is why Shivaji thought that I should take some steps in order to bring this brother of mine closer to me, or at least to see to it that he gives me what is rightfully mine. And with that view, what did he do? He decided to go towards the south and attack Karnataka. Okay? Shivaji thought that a personal meeting would resolve the dispute and Vyankoji could be persuaded to help in the work of Swaraj. Now, the work of Swaraj was not Shivaji's personal work. Remember, he was not doing it for his own personal gain. He was doing it in order to protect the people. Okay, he was doing it for the sake of his subjects. So he thought that if I go and meet my step-brother Vyankoji, I will be able to solve the personal dispute also, and I will also be able to take his help for the work of Swaraj. So having thought this, he decided that he should go towards the south, because Tanjavur was way further down in the south. So see, he decided to meet his brother and talk to him, okay, and persuade him that he also should give as much help as possible as needed for establishment of Swaraj. Okay, and then we will see how Shivaji Maharaj visited Golokonda. So Shivaji started on his southern campaign. He started towards the south. Okay, from Maharashtra, he started moving towards the south. And when he was going there, the king, that is Abul Hasan Qutub Shah of Golokonda, had invited him to visit Golokonda. So this particular king of Golokonda had asked Shivaji Maharaj to come and spend a few days with him in Golokonda. He therefore decided to visit Golokonda first and then proceed with his conquest of the south. He said, first, what will I do? I will go to Golokonda and I will meet this person or this king or ruler of Golokonda, that is Abul Hasan Qutub Shah. And after I finish my meeting with him, then I will proceed with the conquest or the conquering of the south. So Golokonda was the capital of Qutub Shah's kingdom. So where is Golokonda? Here it is. Okay, it was the capital of Qutub Shah's kingdom, and Shivaji Maharaj now made his way towards Golokonda in order to meet Qutub Shah. Alright, so see here, Golokonda was the capital. Okay, this is the fort of Golokonda. Alright, he made great preparations to receive Shivaji. A great special shamiana was put up where the two would meet. So he did not insult Shivaji Maharaj like the Mughal emperor had insulted him in Agra. In fact, he made a lot of special preparations in order to welcome the ruler of Maharashtra. What had he done? There was a huge shamiana which was erected. See, a shamiana is a kind of a huge pandal which is erected. Okay, if you must have gone to weddings, you must have seen these kind of big shamianas. And these two people would meet in this special shamiana. As Shivaji entered the capital, people lined the streets to have his darshan. Darshan means one look. When you go to a temple, you take darshan of the deity. or the god over there. In the same way, the people in Golokonda, they lined up, they stood on both sides of the street in order to just take a look at Shivaji Maharaj. Stories of his exploits were the talk of the whole country. So everywhere around you would see people talking about the brave stories of Shivaji Maharaj. So do you remember what those stories were? Yes, so people had heard of the death of Afzal Khan at his hands. So you remember the story of Afzal Khan, how Afzal Khan invited Shivaji and he said, "You're like a son to me," and then he tried to strangle him. But then Shivaji gave it right back and he killed Afzal Khan. So people had heard this story. They had also heard the story of the discomfiture of Shaista Khan, where Shaista Khan was a Mughal Sardar who had occupied Shivaji's home for a long time, and Shivaji drove him away from his home. Okay, so people had known about the discomfiture of Shaista Khan also, and people also had heard stories about Shivaji's miraculous escape from Agra. Shivaji went to meet the emperor in Agra, and what did the emperor do? He kept him under house arrest. He did not allow him to come back to Maharashtra. And then Shivaji had to escape from Agra in big boxes or baskets of sweets and flowers were being sent out every day. So one fine day, Shivaji entered one of these baskets and he escaped. Okay, so all these stories the people of Karnataka or the people of Golokonda had heard about, and that is why Shivaji received a royal welcome. He received a welcome which was fit for kings. What was the reason? Because of his bravery. The stories of his bravery had spread far and wide. People showered flower petals on him from the housetops. Can you see these flower petals? People started showering flower petals on Shivaji Maharaj from the housetops when he was traveling on the street below. Acknowledging this wonderful reception, Shivaji entered Qutub Shah's darbar. Qutub Shah came down halfway to receive him. So see, this is a shamiana, and now Shivaji enters Qutub Shah's darbar in the shamiana, and you will see Qutub Shah has come down halfway to receive him. He showed enough respect to Shivaji Maharaj, and he got down from his asan or his throne and he came down to receive Shivaji Maharaj. He seated Shivaji Maharaj alongside himself as an equal on a specially prepared throne. So unlike the Mughal emperor at Agra who did not show any respect for Shivaji, here in this place the Shah, he made him sit next to him on a specially made throne. He left nothing undone. That is, he did not leave anything to chance as far as reception was concerned. Okay, so this is the first half of the lesson for you children. In the next half, we will talk about how Shivaji conquered Jinji. Okay, this was this particular place called Jinji. It is a fort. And you will also see how he met with Vyankoji Raje and how we will see Shivaji's end also in this particular lesson. That is what happened and why did Shivaji Maharaj breathe his last. That also we will see in this particular lesson. So just you can say his mother passed away in 1674. And in 1680, that is hardly 6 years later, Shivaji Maharaj also passed away. So that story also we will see, but that will be in the next part of the video, children. So please watch the entire video and please do all the tasks which I have set for you.
So children, now you have watched the video. So after you watch the video now, you will have to complete a few simple tasks. Now you might have watched the video on your computers or your laptops or your mobile phones. Now after you watch the video, what will you do? You will please go to the description box which is given below the video. So what is the description box? See, the description box looks like this. Alright, and after you go to the description box, you will see that there are a few questions there. Now what are these questions about? These questions are about the lesson that we just learned. or the video that you just watched. So what will you do? You will think back properly about the lesson and you will try and answer these questions and note down the answers in your notebook if you want. Okay? After that, we have another task waiting. You will also click on the link which you will find in the description box to fill up the Google form. So now what is the Google form, children? It is nothing but a simple form. There are a few simple questions there about the video which you just saw and also about yourself. So these are the tasks now that you will have to complete after you watch each video. So children, wasn't that a very interesting lesson? I'm sure you learnt a lot of new things in this lesson. If you have liked this video, please hit the like button and also subscribe to my video so that you will get to see all the videos which I keep posting regularly.